Hey, welcome here to the Eggheads Scramble. So, after being on multiple different podcasts for many years, I decided to do my own, have a little autonomy, figure out exactly what you might want. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm always going to try to keep the podcast at 20 to 30 minutes, just to respect your time and give you as much information as possible. So, why should you care about what Egghead thinks? So, yes, I am Egghead Warrior. I am the number one super fan of the PGF. If you go to the PGF season one, week one, you will see me right there in the comments section. However, I did in fact graduate to being a part of the staff in PGF season three. I've been commentator PGF season three on, and so I might know a little bit about the PGF. So, what is the PGF? It's a Professional Grappling Federation. Essentially, it is the first professional grappling jiu-jitsu league. It is everything you love about sports plus jiu-jitsu. So the commish, Brandon McCatherine, and Conscious Keelan came up with this idea, back in 2020 during COVID, which is earth-shattering because not a lot was going on, not a lot of competitions happening. And, their first vision was essentially having a weekly league where everyone could watch jiu-jitsu. Their people could compete in jiu-jitsu. It's because it's a separate skill set than actually just like doing jiu-jitsu. Competing is a separate skill set. And I'll tell you what, I became a part of that community. I was in Cherry Point, North Carolina at the time, and I wasn't allowed to do jiu-jitsu. And my methadone, my lifesaver was the PGF, and every Friday being in the chat with everyone. But right now, what you need to know is that PGF Season 9 is upon us. So the qualifiers, or at least the main qualifiers from the franchises start tomorrow on the 22nd. So the Alabama Twisters, led by the Notorious Nine, black belts out of Alabama, have a qualifier going on tomorrow. So for the qualifier, it's going to be 175 pounds because that's what the season is. Just so you know, the season is 175 pounds. In previous seasons, you could weigh in once at the beginning of the season and not have to worry about it, and you could bulk up as much as you wanted. This season, they're going to keep it at least within the same weight class, so to speak. So people can go down to 175 before the season starts, but they may not. I'm sorry. Yes, they may not be any bigger than 194 every Wednesday before matches start. So no insane weight cuts here. A little bit of weight cut, okay, because that's fight sports. Okay, got it. But they'll generally be the same weight class. So again, just really quickly, the PGF, quick recap. So what we have here is we have 4 teams. Amazing. Los Angeles Kings. Las Vegas Kings. Sorry, New Hope Regeneration. The switch from New Hope got me, I guess, for a second. But Kevin Lucas, amazing leader. Really pumped about those guys. The Philly Phenoms, and then again the Alabama Twisters, and a team yet to be named. Who knows? Maybe the Colorado Wolverines. We'll see. But I'll retire there until next summer. However, the season itself. The great thing to know that is there are 4 teams that have 20 competitors. So each team has to have 5 people. All right. Of those 5 coming into the season, actually, this is a new thing. A little but it's not double secret, so I'm not getting in trouble for this one. But every franchise can actually bring in 2 people this time into the draft. So they might already have 2 people. They don't have to, but they can. So, pretty exciting news there. But of these 4 teams of 5 people each, every competitor will face the other 15 competitors that are not on their team. So, if you're not on somebody's team, you will face those folks, which is a lot of fun. Essentially, starting on 4 February 2026, we will have the draft, which should be a blast. It's a lot of fun. Look in the past. Look on PGF World's YouTube channel. It's a lot of fun. Last season we had an issue where 10th Planet guys can't math, so this time I will be providing a pre-programmed spreadsheet to make it 10th Planet proof, that they can make sure they stay under budget. However, again, it's a lot of fun. People bidding each other up, anticipation, lots of fun. It's a blast. However, starting March 4th, that Wednesday on PGF World YouTube site, every Wednesday will be your PGF night. It is appointment TV. You don't want to miss it. And so generally every week goes about 4.5 hours, essentially. So I mean you're gonna have, because it's 30 matches a night. 30 matches. Now I'll tell you, a lot of matches end up in submissions. And so they don't go the full 6 minutes. I should put a pin in there right there to back up a second and tell you, just if you didn't know, most likely you do. But there's a few things that make the PGF just so amazing. Instead of the boring jujitsu that jujitsu athletes won't even watch, where people just grab each other and kind of like get on top, pin somebody, try for an advantage. I don't even know what that is. In the PGF, the only way to score is to get a submission. You get a joint lock, we call that a break. Armbar, leg lock, wrist lock, it's a break. It gets you 3 points. You get a choke, a kill is what we call that. Because guess what? Your opponent, they be dead. That's 6 points. Whether it be a guillotine, RNC, DARS, etc. That's 6 points. Now, should you get either one of those two submissions within the first minute, you are the beneficiary of the Elbow Genie, aka Jonathan Roberts, bonus point. And that's a little bit of quick history, 2 seconds or so. Jonathan Roberts was such an animal in PGF Season 1. He was just subbing everyone left and right so quickly with joint locks. Armbar, since the Elbow Genie moniker, he actually wasn't going to make the playoffs halfway through. So they decided to throw a bone. So if you get a quick sub, bonus point. All right. The other things to think about is that every match is only 6 minutes long, and so that forces the action. Because if you train a little bit of jiu-jitsu, and most of us do, passing the guard takes a hot minute. Getting a sub takes a hot minute. So it really forces the action. So everything in the PGF is all about offense. It's all about excitement. It's all about fun. But again, we're going towards these qualifiers. And so first I have to say, I've been putting this off for too long, and it will be cleaner and more professional as we go. But at some point, you just got to make it happen. I had a really great friend that knows how to do this stuff. His name is Russ Sawyer, and I wanted to just put out there. He recently published his book called Hanging Creek Chronicles, Book 1 of the Shadows of Martial Law. So if you like some survival stuff, some post-apocalyptic stuff, go to Broken Spokes Productions. I actually have that pulled up right now, I believe. So just Broken Spokes Productions. Not only is he an author, but he also is amazing at doing podcasting. So should you need to have anybody else help you run a podcast in the background, as he is doing for me right now, he's amazing, and he's just amazing to work with. So thank you, Russ. All right, getting back to it. So what do you have going on right now? At the bottom of your screen, I believe we have had the qualifiers going on. So obviously we talked about Auburn's happening tomorrow. Gatlinburg is in 2 weeks. Pasadena is just 1 week after that. Then after that, 1 week, Dallas. And they just keep coming right at you. So something to think about. And here's the crazy thing. We're going to talk about the qualifier tomorrow. I've said this multiple times on previous seasons. If you have the ability to sneak into the first qualifier, that first mover advantage could pay so much dividends. And we'll cover that in just a second. I'm just saying, like, there's a very quick flash to bang from when qualifiers are mentioned and then when they happen. I'll tell you right now, obviously, if you know me, I'm eggheadwarrior.com. I have an article on the qualifiers. It's out there. We can talk about it at some point. But I'm telling you, the quicker you can get to a qualifier, the better it is, because if you are not a named individual, if you're not a renowned individual, your time to make it into the PGF is maybe shrinking. Because I'll tell you right now that, season 1 had white belts on it. I think one of our most fun guys, was a judo brown belt, but he was a white belt in jiu-jitsu. He was a blast. But we've made it big, so to speak. I think we're making it big every season. We're getting bigger and bigger. And now we're in Vegas, baby, Vegas. We're no longer in Decatur, Alabama. And the chance of making it as a white belt, not so good. Chance of making it as a blue belt, well, unless you're in Austin at one of the 2 biggest scams in the world, again, a little tough. So if you want a shot, now's the time. Carpe diem, as they say. So we're going to go to look a little bit about this qualifier right now coming up, and we'll share that screen for you. So right now, tomorrow, we have the Twisters having the first branded PGF qualifier. All right, so the Twisters are hosting this one. It's in Auburn, Alabama. The address is actually a little different, but it's essentially Opelika, Alabama at Cage Fit. You see right there. But essentially, it's Auburn, War Eagle. That's where you're going. All right. So the things to think about there is that, again, it's 175 pounds. You must weigh in the day of. And so I believe weigh-ins are 4 p.m. Central Time. The actual matches will be broadcast and will happen 5 p.m. Central Time. Now, things to think about, again, no gi, of course, okay, because we're not boring. Now, another great thing to think about is also double elimination. And that just goes to the whole concept of having a whole season. Double elimination means you can really just go for it, because it's not just about winning the match. We want you to win it and show that you're exciting. So the rules are still the PGF rules. Essentially, for the qualifiers, it's sub only. In those 6 minutes, if you get a sub, you win, and boom, you're there, you progress. If nobody subs, then it's essentially a double loss, but it's a turn movie. Somebody's got to go forward. And so currently on the website, it says referee's decision. In the past, now granted, commission will be there, but I'm sure he's going to separate himself somewhat. But Brandon McCatherine, the commissioner, always used to say, hey, it's Brandon's decision. Who was more interesting? Because that's what we want as a PGF, is we want really exciting people. Now, hey, the Twisters, they can make the call. So I don't know. Maybe if you pin somebody, maybe you get a shot. But I really wouldn't take that risk. But the point is that every match should be exciting, because everyone needs to know that if you're not going for it, if you're not sending it with everything you have, the chances are no one cares, and no one's going to watch you, and no one's going to want you to be on their team, because in the end, the winner of the PGF qualifiers will be on the roster, the greater roster. So we have essentially 20 athletes, 5 active per team, and then we're going to have a set amount of free agents available to all teams. Why does this matter, you might ask? Because jiu-jitsu guys let themselves be broke a lot. A funny thing is that I'll talk about a guy in a second, Noah Randolph, who is currently signed up for this qualifier. In PGF Season 4, Day 1, he was in the stands as a spectator. I think it was by day 2, he was on the mats as a competitor because he was needed. I believe in season 7, we also ran out of the original alternates, which we are now free agents. And then again, last season, people they had to keep calling more and more people because people let themselves get broke. And in this, correlation causation, I think a lot of BJJ guys are prone to let themselves receive a pop, because they think, okay, I can get through it for a day and then I'll be fine. I'll rehab, stuff like that. Now that became even more of a problem when we had the gauntlet of the PGF. That was the seasons where we had it all in 1 week, and so we tried to tell people, all the insiders, which I was part of, try to warn them, like, hey, if you take a pop, you might be out. We had some spa day issues. People taking some days off, a little resty rest. But back then, that was 25% of your whole season was a spa day. So I hope those cucumbers in your eyes made you feel better, Kevin Sherrill. But in this season, or the last season and this season, it's once a week, which gives you a false impression, if you're a competitor, I believe, that it's okay. I can take a pop. I'll have time to rest, ice, elevate, etc. And it'll be okay. We'll be able to heal. Then reality sets in, and if it's a bad pop, a week later it's actually worse. So, it goes back to first principles of jiu-jitsu. If you're caught, tap. Respect the position. Every competitor has 15 matches to put up as many points as possible for their team, to put up as many points as possible for themselves to get the top 8 to be in that finale on that final week. So they need to do that. But maybe we should turn actually, again, to a little bit more of that qualifier itself, and let's look at who we got going on here. Oh, pardon me, I forgot. I need to get in True Alabama Twister apparel to talk about their qualifier. So a number of these guys, and I said before, I'll say it again, the initial qualifiers are probably your best shot to make it in. Again, not to take his name in vain, but handsome Kevin Sherrill, PGF, season 5. He was smart. He went to Wetumpka for the first qualifier, and I think he only had to beat 2 people to be able to make it in. Now, currently, there's 17 people signed up, so that's a little bit different. But I mean, we'll just take a few of these guys. So you look at the first 2 guys. I mean, this is at Cage Fit. So both these gentlemen are Cage Fit competitors, and so they should have an advantage. Look at Chris McConnell. He's through 2. Some in UFC time, that's prime of your life, right? Some people might think he's not a spring chicken. Obviously, Egghead, like, man, 32 would be nice. But he's a brown belt. He apparently got the Auburn Winter Championship. He hit that with some golds in there. But as far as like big name stuff out there, ADCC Opens, IBJJFs, nothing really there. Lanny Cantrell, a 20-year-old purple belt out of Cage Fit. If you look at his smooth comp, that's mostly purple belt competitions right there. Zachary Roland, pardon me. He's out of Cobra Jiu-Jitsu Tuscaloosa, so one of the the gyms of the Notorious 9. Gentlemen, he's a 21-year-old white belt. Anthony Salisbury Steak Day. I remember him because he's been in 2 different qualifiers, both at 205 and at 155, which is kind of interesting, both with mixed results. He's a 17-year-old. He's a super, active guy, has some good moves. But again, 17-year-old as well there. Michael McGrath, hey, much love to him. He's if you look at him up in Instagram, he's at the Legless Leg Locker out of Triumph Fight Academy. It's a Pedigo branded gym. I mean, per his moniker, he's got no legs. So he can leg lock you. You can't leg lock him. But also realistically, he's gonna find his way to be a backpack and choke some people out. So it could be exciting again. But if you look at his record online, not knocking it out of the park. I mean, hey, they're all. I'm on the couch. They're all lapping me. No question about that. Just to throw it out there. I'm not trying to say anything about that stuff. You get some more interesting people down here. Obviously, Noah Randolph. The Ninja Choke Master out of 10th Planet Decatur. Now he's 22 years old. A little wild because he was PGF Season 1. He was one of the fan favorites of PGF Season 1 back in 2020, back when the young man was 16. A little known fact, he doesn't know how to breathe out of his mouth. Nope, can't do it. If you've seen it, show me the video. But he's a killer. He's one of those guys that the commish has talked about, where he just like slays black belts left and right in the gym, and then competition. Maybe something gets in his head or something like that. But I'm telling you, he's one of the reasons why I got second in PGF Season 1 Fantasy Jiu-Jitsu, because I kept betting on Noah. He's a warrior. I'm excited to see it. We'll throw out there Wyatt Montgomery. He's been in multiple PGF qualifiers. He's a black belt. But still, in his qualifier experience, he's had mixed results. And so I guess overall, and I've looked at all 17. I've looked them all up. I don't know. I guess maybe Joshua Dawson out of 24-year-old brown belt out of Gracie Baja, Texas. He got a silver in ADCC Mexico 2024. He lost only to Kyle Chambers. Well, that doesn't happen anymore, right? And then he got ADCC Atlantic City absolute bronze belt 2024. I mean, that's pretty legit. But I'll tell you, in every qualifier, it has seemed in the past, there's like some Ronin, some like samurai just walks off the street that comes up and just slays everyone. And I have a feeling this might happen here. You also have the fact that, the PGF was born in the Southeast. And so, a lot of people in the Southeast really know about the PGF, are really pumped about the PGF. They know that you can go from pretty much zero blue belt, just train a little bit, to actually having a presence online, having sponsors, having invites to events. We had a blue belt that did really well in PGF Season 2, and all of a sudden, like the month later, he became the champion of another competition. That stuff happens. That's the beauty of, the beauty of the PGF, and the fact that people get so much love, so much video, so much, just time of their jiu-jitsu that they can give to other people, the content. And also, and I used to get buzzed for this by all the other guys, but honestly, every competitor I've ever talked to has also seen that everyone in the PGF, from the camera people to the announcers to the reporter staff to the pre-show, post-show guys, everyone just wants all the athletes to just shine. We just want them to shine like crazy, and they can and they will. So that's essentially just what I want to say a little bit about the qualifier. Again, reminder that you can come back. So it's a double elimination. So, always a great thing about the PGF writ large is that being a league, it's not just like a tournament where you see if somebody you care about and they might lose the first match and then like, oh, I'm glad they went to Florida last week, because that sucks. All right. The PGF is a season. Every competitor that you care about and that you will care about, because I'm telling you right now that these guys show their hearts, and you will love these competitors. You get to go on a journey with them, their warrior's tale, for a whole 15 matches, a whole 5 weeks, and possibly 6 weeks, should they make the playoffs. And just as a little extra bonus, a little lanyap, the PGF also does a behind the scenes show that they put out every week. So not only do you see them fighting for their lives, fighting for their chances at stardom, you also see the behind the scenes of hearing from their coaches before, after, during the week while they're training. It is amazing. All right, I was going to get into some stuff about why qualifiers are important, and how qualifier winners have done in the past. I mean, just quick recap off the top of my head. David Evers, PGF Season 3 winner. He was the second runner-up at the Decatur qualifier, which was the first qualifier for PGF Season 3. Kevin Sherrill was the Atlanta qualifier winner for PGF Season 3. He was second place. So boom, there you go. 2 qualifier winners, 1 and 2. All right. PGF Season 4, Reese Lefevre, the Decatur qualifier winner. Are you hearing something that's repetitive here? Hey, people that know, they get in that Decatur qualifier, that Alabama type qualifier, and they make it happen. Is it going to happen now? Maybe. We look at PGF Season 5. You look at guys that just make things happen. Nick Creighton was just a monster coming in there. I think he was my I get struck for that. Okay, my favorite guy that came in from qualifier period. And I won't go through the rest of them. I'll wait till next week. So I'm telling you, for Egghead Warrior and Egghead Jiu-Jitsu, because I'm trying to transition to Egghead Jiu-Jitsu to the brand, because Egghead Warrior is going to add some other stuff with maybe the pew-pews and other things. But Egghead Jiu-Jitsu, I want to give you as much information as I can to prep you for the season so you get excited. At the same time, I always want to respect your time. And so even though it might run my suck a little bit, I will try to keep every podcast 30 minutes or less. That way, worst case, you can put them on 1.5 speed. But next week, we'll do a quick recap of this qualifier that just happened. We'll try to do a little preview of the qualifier about to happen. But I'd also like to maybe go over maybe top 10 PGF veterans that you'd like to see this season, because I can think of at least 7 off the top of my head immediately. And at least I'm pretty sure you probably at least have 1 to 4 that you really like to see as well. But until then, hey guys, I love you. The PGF rocks. The PGF is everything you love about sports plus jiu-jitsu. And you know what? Not everyone has a 20-pound brain, but I'll help you make up for that. So see you next week, guys. Out here.